因为我们是现在在常规赛的话是达到了全联盟第一嘛，所以说我们现在的不管是状态还是自信什么的都是非常高的。我们这个赛季的话，目标的话肯定是冠军，因为我们有足够的时间，就是去也是研究一下我们将来要打的对手吧，所以我们准备的时间比较多，然后的话就是也会更努力的去朝这个目标然后去奋斗吧。
2 full weeks of preparation to study and get ready for their enemy of RNG. And Jackie Love, you are now in a best of 3. That's no longer a best of 5. Welcome back, everyone. We're here to get ready for this game 3 because this series is already delivering. This is the LPL. This is great.
I mean, he's talking about how much they had time to prepare, to plan.
Yeah.
And what the hell is happening with the Trundle pick? Like, they didn't see that one coming? Ban that.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that they... We're talking about preparation. You can't prepare for what's happening in the later portion of the game 1. You can't prepare for getting dived repeatedly in game 2. So they should have had some insight on that one. But yeah, you're right about the Trundle pick. Clement's been calling out for quite some time about the fact that Trundle's been getting spammed in solo queue by jungler MLXG quite frequently, so you got to be able to ban it or at least have a strategy against it. Gragas seemed to be the one that they wanted to go to quite frequently, but it's been faltering.
Yeah, tragically, they're going to have to change something up in this game 3, but Invictus Gaming, now they're the ones who find themselves on the back end of that momentum, who find themselves facing Uzi after getting a pentakill on Kai'Sa. Are we going to see Kai'Sa for the rest of this series? I mean, we joked about it, and then we saw it again in game 2, and we're like, okay, maybe it'll be different. Now he's got a pentakill Invictus Gaming.
What's your opinion?
Are we going to see it?
I mean, that said, while Trundle is strong enough on his own merit, I also think a lot of the success that RNG's composition particularly is finding is using the long-range displacement of the Trundle pillar for Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
So I think you can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Go back to the Varus, go back to the very dominant laning ADCs and dive Kai'Sa repeatedly that we saw in game number 1, but just deny the Trundle so she doesn't have access to backline like that.
There we go. I actually agree with that one completely. I thought she was going to be like, get this champion out of my face.
Whoa.
I'm done with Kai'Sa, as IG is probably thinking right now. But I agree. Varus should be a big point of contention. Caitlyn as well. I know that Caitlyn has been more of an Uzi pick than it's been a Jackie Love pick, but I would love to see just that long range harass into it. I understand that they wanted to scale off that and they thought that they had mid pressure, but that wasn't the case and they ultimately paid for it.
Caitlyn is considered the counter to Kai'Sa. She pretty much dominates her in lane and just abuses the range. So hopefully they just start changing up the ADC champion pool.
Well, we're going to see what it's going to be. Our champ select is now ready, and our casters are going to get us into game 3. This best of 5 is now a best of 3. Fish and Clement, take it away.
We certainly will, Tom, because already you said there's got to be some changes made to champion select, and one of them has already been done. IG, they're going to ban out Trundle heading into game number 3. Karma and Swain hit the bench as well, so Thresh was the pick that was changed for IG, whereas RNG, they're sticking with Rakan, Olaf, as well as Talia this time round.
And finally, they take away the Trundle. That's been the big pick that we've said is going to determine the series. If they didn't ban it, I told Raz and I told Frost Curran that RNG were going to win this series in a breeze. So finally, props to IG, props to Mafa, taking that pick away. What they didn't change, however, was leaving the Kai'Sa open.
Which gets locked in first pick for Uzi, heading into the bottom lane, not allowing Jackie Love a chance to pick the champion. We know that Caitlyn was a pick that Uzi has played time and time again. He is famous for the pick. He's famous for the champion. This time it's going to be Jackie Love that picks it up.
And this is interesting because they're leaving the Morgana open for the Kai'Sa instead of just picking both of them in the same rotation. We usually see that comp being run, and actually IG ran that 4 times in the last 2 weeks. So that's a very successful comp. They're leaving it open, but they're not taking the Morgana away immediately.
No, they are not. And they also go for the Sejuani pick. Locking that in for Ning. He's played 2 back-to-back games with Gragas, had a great game 1, didn't have the best of performances in game number 2. MLXG can now go pick up Gragas if he wants to. He is known for picking up the champion, and so is Nick.
And the strength about the Sejuani is that she is much stronger in the early parts of the game. It's harder for someone like a Trundle to bully you out of lane. Compared to the Gragas, however, it also does give you less engage. So you have to be very selective. You have to use her ultimate to the fullest of your ability. And of course, the Alistar being locked in for the Kai'Sa. This is the most common duo we see, just because you have a chance to go for an all-in.
That does give the Morgana over towards Invictus Gaming. As you mentioned, that's going to be locked in. They've played it quite a bit recently and has been a very strong bottom lane duo. throughout the course of the latter half of the spring split, I should say.
The best thing about his Morgana is that Ballan always goes first item banner of command. This is actually really rare. He's the only Morgana to do it in the LPL, but it works with their mentality. They're going to try to play a fast push composition with this.
Going away from the Tahm Kench support, which we saw RNG punish quite heavily in that last match. RNG is still going to lock in Vladimir as one of their 2 picks, either for Let Me in the top lane or Xiaohu in the mid lane. Tatai is not coming back for game number 3. Still going to stick with Let Me for the top laner of choice.
And IG are taking away hard initiation options. They don't want to be beset upon when they're the ones setting up the sieges. Zac is a great champion for that. He can engage on long range. And this game might be the first one where we actually see the Nocturne actually coming out. Now, FLICKR has talked about this a lot. MLXG has played a lot of that champion in solo queue, but this time it might actually happen just to counter the siege.
Well, we'll see, and we'll talk about that interaction if they do lock it in later on. But IG are focused on tanks at the moment. Zac is going to be banned away by Invictus Gaming. Sion's taken off as well, so we can no longer see Let Me and Xiao
No hard
flex.
engage.
They can also can't flex their 2 champions in their solo lanes anymore, giving Rookie or Duke a little bit of breathing room, depends on who they give the last pick to. RNG respecting Duke's pick in the top lane though, they ban out Gnar.
This is actually a bit of a weird time to ban out Gnar, because if you're looking at the fast push siege composition, all of the attention is going to be in the bot lane, and usually you're just going to stick a tank into the top lane. So I don't actually agree with this Gnar ban. I think like it's just something to give Let Me a bit more leeway, and of course IG instantly pick up the tank they're looking for anyway.
Which is on, heading into the top lane for Duke. So the tie play on in game number 1 was crucial to the engage that RNG were able to use to fight back in the late game. RNG still picked the win, but it looked like it was going to swing in RNG's favor at any given moment. So Duke gets his chance to show what he is made of on the tank at the top lane.
Now for RNG, their composition is looking to collapse on all sides right here, so they're going to go for the Shen, which is another global that can bring people into fights. How they want to start this is basically Vladimir goes into the bot line, Kai'Sa goes into the bot line, Alistar goes in, and whoever goes low, the Shen instantly goes in onto them. So they know their win conditions, they know they're playing against fast push siege, they're bringing as much initiation as possible.
And more being picked up by Jarvan, heading into the jungle for MLXG. Very early game, dominant jungler. We'll have to see what he's able to do against Nink's Sejuani pick.
Yep, this is a different kind of submarine. You can see the submarine, but you can't stop it because it's going to be on a pooled Vladimir. It's going to go straight for the backline. And of course, the counter pick to the Vladimir coming out from Rookie right here in the Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia into the mid lane. Rookie's been strong on the champion. His Orianna was left up and available, but they decided not to give him his signature pick for game 3.
IG, they do have a better 5v5 and they do have a better sieging composition. However, with sieging compositions, the first step is always to take down the bottom lane tower. And with that, MLXG can look for a lot of early game ganks into the bot lane. This is primarily the reason we still even see Jarvan in the LPL. It's because of those level 2 ganks.
Up against a Morgana Caitlyn though, one of the safest bottom lanes in LOL at the moment.
What you can do is that Morgana has a CD of 23 seconds, rank 1, onto the Black Shield. So if your bot laners are able to get that Black Shield out and follow up with a gank, you can make that successful quite often.
Okay, we'll have to see if MLXG is able to put the attention into the bottom lane that we've seen him do time and time again in the series so far. Whereas for the side of Invictus Gaming, they've swapped up their drop. This time they don't have those losing lanes, which we said was uncharacteristic of Invictus Gaming. Normally they win their matches through their superior laning phase. They were dominant and able to push through. In game number 2, everyone was being pushed in for Invictus Gaming, and Ning was shut down by MLXG. He had no impact on the map.
The big difference here, of course, is that they're supposed to win the mid and they're supposed to win the bot. There's going to be no more blue steals for MLXG. They're going to try to lock down these 2 lanes and push all the resources down into that first bot lane and get that first tower just to get the siege composition rolling. It's really about MLXG and how much he can play disruption for the first 2 rotations of the jungle.
Well, let's see if MLXG can do exactly what he's been doing so far this series, which is control the jungle, take it away from Ning, be the dominant jungler and shut him down. He was able to do so quite well so far. Let's see if it continues. But it's a tied series in the specifier. We're getting onto the Rift for game number 3. And you can see that it's a packed arena in Hangzhou, where the semi-finals of the LPL is currently taking place at LGD's home arena. Both being packed out with fans for RNG, for Invictus Gaming. Both sides chanting loudly for these two teams. Only one of them can move into the finals, where they'll wait to see who they'll be playing up against, either EDG or Rogue Warriors, who play their semi-finals match tomorrow. Heading into game number 3, it's currently tied up. First game, back and forth, all the way to the nexus being raced between RNG and Invictus Gaming. Game 2 was a one-sided affair. IG were shut down in a way that we haven't seen happen to them this entire split.
They've been so dominant all along, but I think this year is the year of the dog. This is the best chance for Uzi to actually claim a title. He's never done it before, even being so good for so many years. This is his best chance. The Shy isn't playing. Clearlove is questionable.
And so far, he's been the standout performer for RNG, rightfully so. He has been the best AD carry that we've seen in a long time. Back-to-back 1v1 championships when he's played at All-Stars, not only this year but last year. Picked up the All-Star title with the LPL squad when he was there in December last year. Now he's looking to try and pick up his first title, finally get the crown that people think he deserves, but he hasn't been able to achieve just yet. And a pentakill on Kaiser in the last match to top things off. Going into this game, though, you see junglers are going to be starting on top side of the map, both Sejuani as well as Jarvan.
And you can see IG are very worried about that bot lane. They instantly put a ward down for the level 1 just to control that bot lane gank coming out from Jarvan. We've seen Clearlove do this multiple times. You take your blue, you take your red, and you look for that level 2 gank immediately. IG know the play here. They should have spotted this out. Can they prevent it?
Well, they see MLXG now walking over the ward, and Ning is close by. Sejuani takes down Scuttlecrow as the fastest out of any jungler. Takes it down, gets a little bit of extra vision. MLXG's going to walk back in. They go for the initiation. Classic Black Shield comes after Balan, stops the initiation coming out from Ming. That's going to wear off. MLXG is still in this brush. Goes in, flag drag, doesn't get the knock off. Jackie Glove gets away. Does get tagged by a bit of plasma from Uzi, but he's perfectly safe.
And this is so much time wasted from MLXG. I'm actually a bit surprised that nobody pinged that ward was sitting in the entrance to his own jungle. So Ming did the right thing. He got the Black Shield out, but the MLXG waiting there, it tells me a lack of communication. That should not have been the case.
But it makes sense why MLXG is targeting that bottom lane. Look at Uzi's game 1 and 2 stats. 37% damage there, 25-4 and 5 in KDA, but there's a fight in the mid lane. Xiaohu going to jump on top of Rookie. Ignite is ticking. Rookie's going to try and fight back as level 4 gets level 3. MLXG flashes forward, gets exhausted by Rookie as well. Is going to be able to escape this one. Gets away from the 2-on-1 gank.
Great use of the phase rush, getting Rookie out of a hairy situation. And on the bottom side, we see Sejuani coming in. Only the flash burned away from Ming, however.
Both summoners were burnt in the mid lane by Rookie as well. Xiaohu used his too. That's an unsealed spell book, Vladimir. Not going to be able to teleport back into the lane. Now, MLXG, he went from bottom to mid to top. And even though taunt missed coming out from Shen in the top lane, MLXG still decides he wants to flag and drag in. Doesn't get the knock up. He's had a lot of pressure over the map, but hasn't gotten anything for it so far.
Yeah, he is falling behind quite substantially. Already 3 camps behind, and 2 of them came from his own jungle. So this is a... You know, we've seen this being done by other Jarvan mains, kind of like Pepper, like Klid. They really like this style, but when it doesn't pay off, then your late game is actually quite bad. Jarvan has been nerfed quite a bit in terms of the armor.
He's still farming fine at the moment, but Ning does have a slight CS advantage. He has been able to go towards the bottom side of the map, burnt the flash on Alistar speed. Can't see the early playmaking plays being made by the cow just yet. But again, it's just been wasting LSU's time. Now RNG's early game strategy from LSU faltered. We didn't see anything come out from it. He has to try and adapt and move towards the mid game. Very curious to see how he decides to do just that.
And you can see how difficult it is to actually time the Black Shield correctly.
Oh, if you don't time it correctly like that, Jackalob takes a beating. He's forced to flash away. Under 200 hit points, still holds onto his heal. But good engage coming out from Ming.
Yeah, that level 1 Black Shield has a very long cooldown. It's 23 seconds. So Alistar, you can't go in. And the great thing about it is that the Black Shield has to be timed between the W and Q combo. You can see on the first try, he actually did not time it correctly, and Ming was able to outplay him mentally, and he still landed the W damage. You have to time it between W or Q, or you still get knocked up. Or the WQ combo will actually break your Black Shield. Excuse me.
Then IG, they just burn a summoner spell. It does give lane priority over towards RNG though, as he's able to go back to base. Xiaohu in a bit of a sticky situation in the mid lane though. Gets a nice big heal, but Ning's going to charge on in. Sanguine Pool gets used, gets slowed down. Rookie's going to charge forward. There's no flash available. Stand United at the last second comes out from Let Me. That's going to save Xiaohu.
Oh, and that was a instant level up from Let Me. If you look at Duke, he's still level 5, so they basically got that in the probably just the past 10 seconds or something. Clutch game coming out from Let Me.
Unfortunately for Duke though, he did the right thing. His top laner instincts kicked in and he tried to stop the channel of the Stand United. Would have been better to let him go into the mid lane. Now you got to walk all the way back towards top side of the map. But RNG saved their mid laner. Xiaohu's having a difficult task at the moment after not being able to successfully secure the kill against Rookie from the early gank of MLXG. Does get his teleport back up. Teleports back as a mid lane. Has picked up the Ionian Boots of Lucidity as his first item. Tear of the Goddess, first item being picked up by Rookie.
Yeah, and that's part of the ban pick phase that I didn't really like from RNG. I felt like the Nara was a bad read onto the composition that Invictus Gaming was going to play, and they should have banned the Cassiopeia instead. We've been seeing this in their drafts, that they usually ban the Cassiopeia in round 1 and round 2, just because it frees up a lot of the picks that Xiaohu wants to go.
But he's already shown what he can do on this Vladimir pick, and worked in tandem with MLXG in game 1 to fight back from 7 to 8,000 gold deficits against Invictus Gaming, finding the crucial flanks with his jungler. This time round, they don't have the exact same composition of the Trundle in the jungle, but Jarvan should be able to create those similar flanking opportunities for Xiaohu if RNG need to find those to fight this back against IG. But in traditional IG style, unlike what we saw from game number 2, they are ahead again through the laning phase. They're about 700 gold up against RNG, and they haven't had to do too much just yet.
And this is a great fork coming out from IG. They're taking away the red buff, at the same time they're threatening the bot lane. You saw Uzi and Ming, they had to back off right there, and even Xiaohu was not willing to go into their own jungle. He knew that if he went in, he would probably die there, so instead he pushed the wave just to draw Rookie back out again. Now, that gives free time over to Ning to take a red buff, and also for some free farming time for JackeyLove.
And he's going to continue trying to move in towards the bottom side of the map. JackeyLove and Balan have pushed in against his turret quite successfully, just getting chip damage after chip damage. And Rookie constantly rotating the Fog of War as well. RNG respecting that. Uzi and Ming rotating back towards their inner turret, making sure they play this one safe. MLG has used this time quite wisely though. Hasn't put any pressure on the map, but has been trying to catch up with as much CS and counter jungling as possible. He's 38 to 54 at the moment, almost 20 CS behind Ning.
Yeah, and that's all because of his 3 early level ganks, which none of them actually worked. They got a bit of summoners onto Rookie, but Ning was able to walk into his jungle, track him very well, and that was pretty much the end to that. Now, the only thing that's left for this Jarvan is pretty much the engage potential. He wants to flag drag, stay alive for a long enough time to keep everyone in the Cataclysm, and hopefully that's enough for RNG to turn the tide when the siege does come.
And it still feels like RNG can try and play towards the similar playstyle we seem to use in the spring split. Go towards the split push. They've got Shen, they have Vladimir as well. 2 champions that can split push quite effectively. IG have a very similar mindset here. They already have the Ornn being picked up. Yes, Cassiopeia can do the same. Probably not going to be looking towards that though. We're looking to try and group up and look for these fights. Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, JackeyLove getting good trades against both Uzi as well as Ming.
Massive amount of damage going down onto Ming. He doesn't have enough stacks onto his potions to keep this sustain up. He's just trying to draw away the abilities so MLXG can look for a gank. I actually think IG are a bit slow on their pressure into the bot lane. This is a sieging composition. You do need to take the first bot lane for it to actually work. But Ming has been playing this Alistar very well to this point. He's been able to constantly get the better trades onto this Caitlyn and Morgana lane, and that's something that's very rare to see.
And you already said it in the first set comment. If IG pick up the first turret, they're probably going to win the match.
100% win rate. Hasn't lied so far.
And they pick up first turret 73% of the time. Haven't been able to break any turrets just yet, but mid lane, they're going for a fight.
Oh.
Rookie, mistake!
The ult.
Uses the ultimate, it's not going to connect. Xiaohu's going to get a Stand United as well. Rookie is still alive and well. Ning tries to go for the reinitiation. Duke's going to teleport into the fight. Throws out the on ultimate, gets the knocker. Xiaohu's forced to flash away. Mistakes came out from Rookie, but he still picks up first blood in the mid lane.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there for Let Me. Not really able to achieve much. Actually pays for his own life, but he holds on to the flash nevertheless. Now these fights here, if nothing actually breaks the tower, then it's actually fine for RNG. It's simply a bit of gold going over to the other team. They're not really that concerned about this.
But you can see the stats that were coming out just there. Yes, IG have a very high first turret rate. 73% of the time they pick up first turret, there's a 100% win rate when they do so. They don't have a very high first blood rate. About 43% of the games they play, they pick up first blood.
No
but when
black
they
shield.
do, it's a 94% win rate. Incredibly high for the team.
Yep, and most of those first bloods have actually been because of the bot lane. Now, typically, JackeyLove and Balan are a more lane that absorbs pressure, and IG plays toward the top side with the Shy. But with Duke instead, they had to change their playstyle up. They're going more towards the bot side. They're trying to prioritize that bot lane tower. They should know they're there. They just cleared the ward in that brush.
IG should know that the ganks are going to be constantly thrown towards the bottom side of the map. Xiaohu's now being spotted over a ward, trying to take down Scuttle Crab nice and slowly. Ning's waiting the wings. Rookie's already pushing this one back in. Now actually rotates into lane, will be spotted by a ward if he starts to move in towards the second brush. But so much focus from MLXG into this bottom lane.
I think so far MLXG has actually caught up to Sejuani quite well. The roam coming in with Ming into the enemy jungle really equalized a lot of the pressure. So we saw him down 20 CS early on, but he's actually managed to catch up a little bit. While still falling back straight behind after that.
Well, that's because of the pressure MLXG's trying to dish out, but hasn't got any rewards for it. We said he camped bottom lane for a bit, then he went bot, middle, top, didn't get anything on the 3 rotations he went for. And has now been trying to throw himself in the bottom lane, falling behind in farm. We have to start talking about Duke though. He's up against Let Me in the top lane, he's playing against 2 of the RNG top laners, and he's been holding his own just fine. Game 1, 140 CS up on the Gnar pick. Game 2, he was being shut down and constantly ganked, but he almost turned it back around for himself. In Game 3, he's being the facilitator of Ornn. Was able to cancel one of Let Me's ultimates being used, although it still saved Xiao in the mid lane, didn't allow him to get into that mid lane. This time around also reacting to the second one with his own teleport. He's playing this series quite well.
Yep, and this is basically all they need Duke to be on. Once they knew that the Shy had to get treatment for his injury, they did start playing the Shy even on tanks, just to get the team to be familiar with the mechanics of playing with the tank on the team. And I think Duke definitely would help a lot with that. He's most known for one of the earliest Scions in Korea to pick that pickup.
He's more the facilitator. Yes, the Shy, he's the flashy solo killer. 20 solo kills being picked up in the regular season. Duke is looking to be that facilitator, and IG just need to play around their playstyle and adapt, which it didn't seem like they were able to do well in Game 2. Even Game 1 looked shaky at best, so hopefully for Game 3, with how they're trying to push now, it starts to turn around. Despite MLG not able to get anything going for his team, one thing that has happened for him is now Kai'Sa has been unlocked in the bottom lane. Gwynsu's Rageblade already picked up. He's ahead. Uzi's ahead in CS against JackeyLove. And on top of that, his turret is fairly healthy.
This spells major trouble. There's a reason that IG did not pick a single Caitlyn until week 10. And the reason is that they take most of their fights in the mid-game. Caitlyn is at her weakest during that mid-game phase. They're much more of a Gwynsu's Rageblade pickers. So if they don't get that first tower, if they don't put themselves into a siege mode, then the fights are going to go into RNG's favor.
Especially with how much pressure MLG's putting towards the bottom side of the map. It's really difficult for Invictus Gaming to go for those sieges.
Yeah,
Uzi's
MLG has played great. I think he's stifled out the enemy win condition completely. Sure, he's behind in farm, but that doesn't really matter.
And this is where the power trough for JackeyLove starts. BF Sword, Zeal, and Boots 2 complete from Caitlyn. Not going to dish out a lot of damage in team fights. Can start to siege very effectively, though. For the side of RNG, though, Uzi's picked up a Gwynsu's Rageblade. That's a massive item spike for Kai'Sa, and he's just going to get stronger and stronger as the game goes. RNG going to try and rotate him around the map now. Xiaohu's pushing in this mid lane, and everyone will start to collapse to get damage on this turret.
It's a really good use of time. They saw Cassiopeia leaving the lane on the top side, and instantly went in for just a bit of chip damage. JackeyLove should also be playing very careful here.
No focus on the dragons this time around coming out from MLXG. 14 minutes, and the Cloud Dragon has yet to be touched by either side. Doesn't seem like they want to try and start a fight over these elemental drakes. They're just going to clear out wards throughout the river. Ning's going to continue farming in his jungle. MLXG is slowly catching up when it comes to CS. But again, he hasn't had too much impactful pressure just yet.
And this is actually good for MLXG. Sometimes he just needs to play behind.
They're going for a fight here. Clement Ming is incredibly low, uses the ultimate, whereas MLXG has jumped on top of Rookie. Has Stand United to try and lock him down. Flash over the wall, gets him back to safety. Uzi tags him, but can he get over the wall because he's being locked down? Ultimate comes out, but that's already 2 kills.
Here's the
being
knockback.
picked up by IG. Ultimate comes out from On. The bottom lane from RNG dead. Ning is still charging forward. Flashes on Sejuani. Xiaohu's looking for the big flag in the back line. Ultimate comes out, uses the stopwatch. Everyone is low, but he's going to get taken down. 3 kills go to Invictus Gaming.
And RNG were doing everything right up until that point. They looked for an unnecessary fight around the Dragon. Ming went back in, and the Shen did not go onto the Ming. They tried to get a pick on Rookie instead. When that failed, they're already down 1 member, and they're looking at the Ornn also coming back, also using the teleport and the Ornn Horn from the bot side as well. It was really unnecessary and probably the worst scenario for RNG.
Uzi getting caught out. JackeyLove able to dish out damage when he's at his weakest. This team fight just was a struggle for RNG. Split focus coming out from the support and jungle.
Yep, and the pick back onto Rookie not working there either, so they're already down 1 member. They need to run away from this scenario, and of course, like you said, Uzi just caught in a weird place. Nothing he could possibly do, and they forced so many flashes out.
It looked like it could have been good for RNG, but Uzi, as soon as he tagged Rookie with the plasma, was not able to get the ultimate off because Sting locked him down with the ultimate. Poor positioning, poor team fight coming out from RNG, and IG take so much from it. They punish Invictus Gaming. Mid lane out of turret, it's been broken.
And this is such a weird scenario for Invictus Gaming because they've accomplished their mid lane tower take without going through the proper play. They didn't take the bot lane first, so their lane allocations now is actually a bit wonky because Cassiopeia can't chase the Vladimir down in outside of the mid lane. So it's going to be a very interesting scenario where even though they're behind towers, RNG actually has the initiative power.
But this feels so much more like IG. Look at the stats on your screen. These are all the statistics that IG lead the LPL in. First place. This is much more of their dominant playstyle in comparison to what we saw in that last match, where RNG completely flipped things around.
And this is a pretty poor trade from RNG, actually. They're losing their bot and their top at the same time.
Going for a fight in the mid lane, though. Xiaohu's been locked down, stunned. Rookie gets the kill. Teleport's going to be coming in from Let Me. Rookie's taking the turret. Torque comes through, but he's out of turret range. Can Rookie escape? No. Phase's going to come through. Balan tanks the turret. Ultimate comes out. 2 kills being picked up by Rookie. Uzi's going to try and dive in between the turrets. Rookie uses the Sarah Sprays to try and get a big shield. Uzi now very low. Ming looking to protect him. Uzi wants to kite this one out. Heal is going to be used. Ning locks him down. JackeyLove flashing forward, tries to take on the Vectron. MLXG's here. What the heck is this team fight in between 2 turrets underneath RNG's base?
And IG just chew off too much more than they can bite. Actually, that was a 1 team fight scenario for them, but then JackeyLove still flashed in, trying to get the Kingslayer before his time. In fact, I just think that was a big mistake, and that gives so much gold over to Uzi.
I mean, it looks really good. They got the 2 kills. They would have taken down a couple of members, but they just fought and committed way too much. So
yeah,
the goal differences here, a lot of it is going to be placed in the mid lane.
And MLXG is looking for the stun right here. If they can get the CC, then Uzi could potentially follow up.
Ming's
Don't need it.
Able to get the flank. Jumps in, he picks up the kill. And they get the shutdown onto Rookie. We already said he's 3,000 gold up, ahead of Xiaohu at the moment. That is the gold lead for Invictus Gaming. It's sitting on Rookie's Cassiopeia.
Pretty much, and if they can take him down on one of these side lanes, then that equalizes the entire thing. The first mistake was made by RNG. They tried to go for 2 plays at the same time. They tried to trade the top and also defend the mid lane tower, and IG called them out on it. They had only 1 person in the top lane, were able to defend that and take the bot turret. So that was just a great trade overall, but then they wanted more, which is the greed factor coming in. And this is the problem that we have with the very good mechanical LPL teams. They're always looking for more. This is what makes them great, but this is also their downfall.
And RNG, they're able to punish that, but they don't get too much from it. Just a couple of kills, no major objectives being picked up just yet. LSG has found his way back into the match. He's only about 5 to 6 CS behind Ning at the moment. But so we can see the power of Sejuani, the damage that she can output, as well as the crowd control she can dish out, locking down multiple members of RNG in that fight. Rookie's able to pick up blue buff for himself. He's going to head back towards the bottom lane. Going to continue split pushing for Invictus Gaming.
Next play RNG should look for is where to drop their Herald. As we can see the timer, it's already ticking quite far down. They don't have mid-wave control in the mid lane, so I would actually expect them trying to get something going in the top side.
The top lane, outer turret is fairly healthy for both teams, just being a tank against tank matchup. RNG have swapped up the matchup though. They have sent Xiaohu towards top side of the map. He actually has Ghost at the moment. Could signal that RNG might be looking to try and find a team fight, find a flank against Invictus Gaming. Proto Belt's complete, looking for the Shurela's Reverie next for Vladimir.
Yep, and the Shurela Reverie is actually quite beneficial to Vladimir just because you get your extra HP from the AP as well. So we've been seeing a lot of builds where the Reverie is picked up and also the Death Cap second.
Over Jaculov in this mid lane. They're going to try and lock down Ming. Went for the initiation, jumps in, gets a nice 3-man pulverize, but is it going to be enough? Because Rookie petrifies Uzi. MLSG jumps in, locks him underneath the turret. Uzi dies back in. MLSG is able to jump out. Jaculov now taking the front lines, making sure he keeps Uzi at bay. Meanwhile, Xiaohu's looking for a flank. Duke is there, slows him down, locked down, doesn't get the knock up, but the pull is going to be interrupted by a trap. Jaculov gets the kill, and IG find more picks.
Great play from Duke right there. Sees Xiaohu going through the corridor, knows that he's absolutely going to be hit by the Ornhorn, and instantly continues the siege for IG.
And the trust between Jaculov and Balon is beautiful to watch, but now actually he's been caught out here. Duke's going to try and chase him down. Blastco gets him back to safety, and that last team fight, the Black Shield account from Balon was perfect for Jaculov. Baited Ming into going for the initiation. He had to try and commit, didn't do much for him. IG, they were pushed down mid lane in the turret. They've now started the siege. It was a little bit late, but they've got the ball rolling. 4,000 gold.
The initiation was all wrong from RNG right there. They did not time the Shen ultimate with the rest of the CC. MLXG was also a ways off from getting into the play. So I feel like they just lost Ming way too early on. And that's been a constant problem in these collapses coming out from RNG. It doesn't look like their communication is on point today to really dislodge IG.
And love the early game for RNG was focusing on that bottom lane, focusing to see if they can get Uzi ahead. We've moved away from laning phase. Jaculov is about to break the mid-game power trough. Already has Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, and Zeal complete. Once that second Zeal item's upgraded, that's when Caitlyn starts to come back online. For the side of Uzi, his time is now. He has the Rage Blade, has the Hurricane picked up. Picked up a very early QSS as well to get away from crowd control. It almost feels like RNG need to try and find these right fights and find them soon.
That's definitely true, but they also need to find a flank if they're going to push back IG here. And there is no wards on the right side of IG. We could see Ming just trying for a Hex Flash.
Yeah, Ming actually goes for initiation. 2 traps were stepped on by RNG. Uzi below half health just for stepping on a trap and getting hit by the ace in the hole thrown out by Jaculov. IG, they're pretty patient. They throw out ultimates. They throw out crowd control, looking to lock down multiple members of RNG underneath the turret. But again, they don't force the initiation. They back off and allow the siege comp to go through once again.
And that's a really smart use of their own initiation. They're not afraid to use those CCs and stun logs to try to get your HP low so that you will just forfeit the tower by yourself. A lot of teams actually just hold on to all of their skills and say, hey, let's take it slow and steady, and they just try to chip away at the towers. But, you know, IG, they can go on the aggressive with this composition as well. Ming is a bit awkward.
He's going to get caught out here. No flash available for Ming. Does have ultimate, though, to keep himself healthy instead. Tries to turn around. Now it's going to be Ning, his former teammate. That's in trouble. Forced to flash away. Sejuani's low. MLXG jumps in, slams down, gets the slam, creates the arena for himself, but it's not wide open. RNG actually lose their jungler in that engage.
Yep, both sides lose their junglers, trade 1 for 1, so probably no Baron plays coming out behind. But that was a really good play from Lutney. He didn't use Stand United. He simply walked over there, but they're still going for it. Cassiopeia did a lot of damage, but Uzi should have spotted that out.
People did spot it out. They were trying to stop them from taking it. Look, he's not able to take it down 2-on-1 against the Baron. Instead, Duke looking to lock down Uzi. Able to slow him down. Gets the knock up as well. Xiaohu's looking for the flank. Rookie is waiting in fog of war in case there is a fight that breaks out. These two teams brawling heavily over the Baron.
Yep. Rookie setting up a trap right there. Still had his petrifying gaze. Just waiting for that Vladimir to walk into his trap. Never happened, however, and RNG are able to take back the entire vision control from IG over Baron.
But they lose their top lane turrets. All the outer turrets have been taken down, and mid lane's already lost their inner turret to top it all off. Baron buff's going to come up next. Elemental Dragon in 2 minutes as well, and now Jaculov is online. Ardent Sensor has been complete for Balon, buffing Caitlyn even further, as well as a Rapid Fire Cannon Static Shift combo with the Infinity Edge. Uzi's been forced into an awkward item build as well. He went for the QSS early to get rid of some of the crowd control that you see from the top side of the map of IG, and now he's got a Hex Drinker as well to deal with a really fed Rookie.
Yeah, and I don't see Kai'Sa ever flying into the backline against this type of a composition. You have a Morgana that can instantly put on her soul shackles, and also the Caitlyn is just so good at taking down backline carries with that crit build. So this is going to be a purely frontline Kai'Sa, and they don't really have the tank items in the frontline to push the team fight either. Pretty much what they have left is trying to pick someone off with Shen. Here he goes.
That's what he's going to try and do in the mid lane. Rookie gets jumped on. Letme does get a taunt down. Rookie has to force which way to go. Petrifying Gaze gets 2, but Uzi gets the kill to start things off. Duke now looking for the reinitiation. Gets 3 knockouts, but RNG find a pick with the use of Shen, and now they're going to start pushing mid lane.
That was picture perfect. RNG know the situation that they're in. They can't really take the 5v5, and they can't sit back and hold on later because IG do have the scaling compositions. Great use of Letme and instantly goes for a fight. So look at where Ming is.
Ming's looking for a deep flank. 4 on 5. They're going to try and lock down Ning. He
gets
his former teammate. MLSG uses the ultimate to lock him down, blocking his escape. Taunt comes through. RNG find their second pick, and it doesn't get them back into the match. We have to see what they can take next. They're slowly making their way towards the Baron pick.
Ming's at it again. One more kill and they take Baron.
What was it? High? He was Metal Gear Solid? No, it's Ming at the moment. He's looking for the deepest of flanks. Can try and find Jackie Love. Is on top of a ward though. Sweeper does find it, knows that he's been spotted, and RNG, they're looking for more picks, looking for more plays. Ming might not be in an awkward spot.
Ming can actually get out. He still has his flash, but I don't think...
Does up by the ward, uses his own ultimate, does have flash to jump on the wall, does so, headbutts Baron, says hello, Ace in the hole is going to come out. Not enough damage to take him down.
Ooh, that was a very close scenario right there. I actually think Ming should have backed off because this is going to give tempo advantage over to IG.
IG want to go for the fight. Duke! You got to hit the horn back!
What, Duke?
Duke,
hello?
That slows them. The second proc is the one that knocks them up. There was a choke point as well. Tagged them with the slow. Couldn't execute for the second part. IG just get the summoner out of Ming on the Alistar, get his ultimate as well, and repel some of the picks. But that's all RNG got. They got 2 picks. They didn't transition it into any objectives.
And RNG, the entire team is actually doing a Metal Gear Solid right here. They're hiding in bushes all over the place. They're trying to get that surprise team fight off, and this is one of the funnest things about RNG. You know, they're a very non-traditional team. They don't draft traditionally, they're very reactive, and their game style is also, it relies around a lot of inherent talent. It doesn't make sense a lot of the times, and if they get caught out, it looks really bad, but they're willing to go for these super risky plays just for a chance in the game.
And that worked for them in game 1 as well. They were in a similar position, if not worse, than the deficit they face against IG now. However, they did have a composition that allowed them to fight. Similar pieces of the puzzle though. Kai'Sa able to dive the backline. Spider-Man is able to do so as well. Jarvan and Shen, 2 really good flanking champions who are able to provide the assistance that these backline divers need.
But this is a very different scenario from the last time they were able to find kills. RNG is now forced into straight up 5v5.
Xiao even being a little bit cheeky, jumping on top of Jacula, but it's MLXG in so much trouble. One more auto attack would have taken him down. Ming's now going to try to jump into backline. Xiaohu's very low, forced to use Sanguine Pool very early, and IG take apart the front line first. Ming's going to fall. Rookie, he decides to go into the base. He wants to chase it down, forces Uzi's heal to keep the top laner alive, and IG going to continue sieging against the base of RNG.
And IG should have enough power to actually take down this inhibitor. There's no reason for them to really try and back off right now, but they're still going to go with the safe play. I felt like they had enough summoner advantages to just push on with the lead. Okay, so they are going back.
Just take their time. They fall back and then move straight towards the inhibitor. Lots of traps being placed down by Jacula to keep himself safe. Does get tagged by Uzi.
Unspotted.
MLXG with the flank. Cataclysm onto 3 members, flags and drags out. Shen joins the fight as well. Balon at half health. Rookie is low in the back lines. Letme's been diving in, but Jacula has had free access. So has Uzi. The battle of the 80 carries. Frontliners are slowly falling. 1-for-1 trade. MLXG's looking to see if he can find another flank for himself, but IG spot him out. Just a trade between the 2 teams and they disengage.
Great tanking duty from Duke right there. RNG, they don't really have a front line that can match the Ornn, and the only thing left after that fight was MLXG's potential engage. So good on IG as well. They cut off the flank completely and make sure that there's no more cheeky plays coming out from MLXG.
Just the front liners that fall, and IG try to take control over the Baron pit. Teleport is available for both Shen as well as Ornn when they respawn. They'll be respawning shortly. IG have yet to go back to base and use the gold they've acquired, but they did break the inhibitor in the mid lane, giving themselves a nice advantage over RNG. 5,000 gold up as well. And we already said Jackie Love had a difficult mid game. That's where he fell off. Now he's well and truly online. 5-1-3 has the supportive item of the Arden Sensor being picked up by Balan as well. But Uzi is slowly getting over that awkward item spike that he picked up. More Memories is now being complete. That's now a solid item for him to dive into the back line. Also has the QSS, which you'll be looking to complete shortly, to giving him the lifesteal, giving him the movement speed that we saw him use to almost find victory for RNG in Game 1.
Yeah, it's still a very awkward build. I don't think it does have enough potential against front lines, and also with the Maw, he doesn't really have crit either. So for now, I think most of the damage is incomparable with JackeyLove and Uzi. JackeyLove has a massive advantage in terms of that, and I really like how they use that. They went for the MLXG, please no.
Junglers have found each other, but FLICKR Drag gets him back to safety. He was waiting in that bush for quite some time.
Going back to my point, IG, they looked for the siege themselves because they knew that they could take a front-to-back team fight with a lot of ease, and once they covered their flanks, they were very safe in that situation.
And then now the ones that are trying to siege against the Baron. We already mentioned that JackeyLove upgraded his Affinity Edge through the Ornn upgrade. As a BS sword looking for a Bloodthirster. He packs a lot of raw damage, but Xiaohu's found a flank. Jumping on top of JackeyLove, and Uzi jumps in as well into the back lines.
They take him down!
Takes him down! QSS is out as well. Xiaohu's now trying to live. Let me gets a big taunt, and MLXG, he's godlike in the back lines. Rookie is stuck in the arena. He's got nowhere to go. RNG, 5,000 gold behind, find a team fight. They're not done yet. There's one final snake to hunt. They're turning towards Baron.
And that was a massive 4-for-0 team fight. IG had the gold lead, they had the damage lead, but the single Void Seeker from Uzi able to catch JackeyLove out on the backline, and he instantly goes in for an assassination.
7-1-4 has picked up Kaiser game after game and has impressed every single time. RNG just pulled back this match. They are now even in gold against Invictus Gaming, and they have Baron buff to work with.
That fight gave me chills. There was no way that fight should have worked right there. They had the front line completely sectioned out on the left side, but the Void Seeker finds JackeyLove in the midst of 3 people and allows him to get that beautiful assassination. Also, the Morgana not able to hit any of the skills onto Uzi, and MLXG on the top side also doing a great job sectioning away Rookie.
And again, how do you stop this man, Uzi? Best 80 carry in the world, showcasing he's not afraid to dive in the backlines. He's built for it as well.
That gave me chills. That was so scary from Uzi. Look at him. He's not playing in a haze. His emotions are under his own control right now.
He was denied a championship by a rookie last split. iBoy took him down in Game 5 of the finals. He does not want to be taken down by a rookie again. He will not give JackeyLove that opportunity. And they're able to come back in Game 2. Still in a best-of-5 series. RNG still have a long way. But they've been looking so damn strong against what has been the most dominant team in the LPL for this split.
I never thought that they would be able to actually pull that fight off. All of the indications went to IG securing that Baron fight right there. They already had the cooldowns from MLXG. They had all the item advantage, the gold advantage. But Uzi, just because he's that caliber of player, he's able to make it work. Look at his face. There's no wavering on his face right now. That's a determined Uzi, and that's a scary person.
And he's half an item away from being at full build on Kaiser, moving towards the late game. IG's turrets are slowly falling. Mid lane out of turret, a single auto attack will take that down. Cannon Minion does the job as well. So now it is going to be RNG with a slight gold lead. Still 1 minute and 40 seconds of Baron buff to work with.
And this is IG's test as well. They've been so hyped up this split, but right now you can see on their faces, it's a very stern type of atmosphere. They're getting shell-shocked by the way RNG is playing against them. They can't fall down here. Everyone expected them to go to MSI to represent. It's been a long time since we've seen them internationally. The last time was 2015. They've been this close from representing LPL.
And again, it's still best of 5. So although the series is tied up, a loss here for IG would just put RNG at match point. But that's scary after what happened in Game 1, where IG able to put off the miraculous defense. And then Game 2, which was a one-sided affair for RNG. If Game 3 is a comeback for RNG, that's going to be devastating. IG are still in this match. They're still defending against the Baron buff well, but now things are dead even. And Uzi's at 6 items complete. Rapid Fire Cannon has been picked up for Kaiser. JackeyLove has upgraded his Affinity Edge, but still waiting for his 6th and final item.
The problem now for IG is that RNG can go into 1-3-1 mode. I don't see IG ever getting a fight on their terms ever again. RNG should be able to continuously push all of these waves out and take uneven number fights
And
like
they're going
this.
to try and fight. Jackie Love, the rookie, is dead. They've killed the AD carry. Duke is going to be next. And like you said, RNG find another fight on their terms.
Yep, RNG, they're just going for the juggler right now. Once they see Rookie on the top side, there's no chance for Cassiopeia to defend that. They go instantly in.
That should be it. RNG going to now try and break the base against Invictus Gaming. Baron buff has worn off, but it's a 30-second death timer for both Duke as well as Jackie Love. They only have a couple of minions to work with, but 5 members strong. Everyone's very healthy, and LG's going in. Rookie in trouble. Xiaohu, the little tiger, comes up big again, flushing into the backlines, follows up with the jungler, takes down Rookie on Cassiopeia, gets another one with the jungler going down, and only Balan is left standing. RNG, they almost fought through game 1. They had a shellacking of a game 2, and now they are 1 game away from heading to the finals.
3 minutes ago, nobody would have said that Invictus Gaming was going to lose this game in such a spectacular fashion. That's the power of RNG. Their collective talents are so high that they can claw themselves back from any disadvantage, from any terrible scenario that they put themselves in. And this is the Uzi that we've been waiting to see for so many years. This is the Uzi that is no longer just a follower, but he's going to lead his team.
He shows up in the internationals that he attends, and he's known as one of the hardest AD carries to play against. There's been some time since he's had a decent domestic split. He's been so dominant this split, and continuing his dominance in this series against Invictus Gaming. 3 games of Kai'Sa, it's been given to him every single time. The questions were, are we going to have Trundle take it away? IG took it away. But they don't take away the Kai'Sa, and Uzi dominates on it.
That's scary to look at that goal graph. That is a seaside cliff that we're seeing right here. That's like between two land masses right there, and that's such a nosedive, such a miracle that RNG are able to pull off. I think the bot lane held terrifically. They didn't let the siege continue, and when it came to time to play the Kai'Sa team fight, they also did it magnificently, able to section off Rookie throughout all of these late game fights.
Not afraid to go for the dives and keep going forward, and that was the success, or the key to success for RNG. We thought it was a bit shaky for IG. The early game comp wasn't working. They bridged through the mid game, and it was looking good for them. But late game, RNG found the flank, found the team fight, and now IG, who was so dominant for this entire split, only losing 1 match, the opening game of the LPL to this team of RNG, are 1 game away from being eliminated from playoffs. But for now, though, to break down that game a little bit further, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Fish and Clement. RNG, 1 Nexus away from defeating the 2nd most dominant team in LPL history here. Yeah. And in such an unexpected fashion. I mean, taking those late fights to finally close out the game 36 minutes in, it didn't exactly look like RNG's game for quite some time.
Yeah, I'm going to get the elephant out of the room, and we're going to start right into draft.
Okay.
Kai'Sa, yes, she is a very strong champion. She is incredibly exciting to see. But I am very tired of people saying that banning Kai'Sa is the only solution here. I do not think you have to ban Kai'Sa. The only person who can't play against Kai'Sa right now is Jackie Love. This guy's positioning is atrocious. If he would just back up, not allow him to get sniped off and get insta-killed, they could play these teams front to back. Because effectively right now, teams are saying that Invictus Gaming have no idea what they're doing. Why don't you guys just ban Kai'Sa? That FLICKR have no idea what they're doing. Why don't you guys just ban Kai'Sa? Like, you're effectively pointing fingers at some of the top teams in the world, some of the smartest coaches in League of Legends, saying, what are you doing? You're just throwing away, ban the Kai'Sa. No, it's very clear. Like Morgana, Caitlyn, they were able to sustain the lane. Varus, Kench, it worked into the lane. The problem is that Jackie Love has no idea how to 5v5 position against the Kai'Sa, and this is what's cracking open and letting this champion really shine.
A lot of it for me comes into team coordination, especially in the Baron fight, because the Baron fight really did end the game, or at least decide the game. Because yeah, he did get caught out, especially it started out with Vladimir.
He got sniped 3 times.
Yeah, but Vladimir, of course, being able to get the initial chunk made it so it was much easier for Kai'Sa to get the inline backline. So that was great immediately from Xiaohu to be able to open up that opportunity, but it really calls into question the positioning of Jakilov and the tank specifically, of how they want to play out that Baron fight, because a lot of it was him positioning, or at least the Cassiopeia as well, positioning for the fight, but the tanks were positioning for burn on Baron. So that has to get sussed out a lot of the times, and if you ever find a hole in communications, then that's an opening of that snowball.
Because I do want to remind people that Invictus Gaming had control of Game 3 and Game 1. They almost lost Game 1. Game 3, they should have won. As Clement said, you would not expect RNG to come back, but again, it's the snipe. It's Jakilov not being positioned next to Cassiopeia, Xiaohu and Uzi just blitzing.
And we just running out because the beginning of that replay was essentially the Sejuani and the tank top lane Orin just catching
On the
up
other
to
side.
running to catch up to Caitlyn because they were in position for the Baron's burn. So that's one of the issues of sussing out what you actually want to do when you're running up towards the Baron, because it looks like Cassio was also looking to turn, and that just didn't happen.
So here's the thing. I have no doubt that Invictus Gaming will probably ban the Kai'Sa for this last game just because they're tired of dealing with it. But again, I do not think this means that teams cannot deal with Kai'Sa. I think there are very clear options because her lane phase is exploitable, and IG have gotten the better of that both times that they've played against it. But they'll probably ban it just because Jakilov cannot deal with it in 5v5.
And just taking a step back of what the composition Invictus Gaming were running and why it looked, even though it was a fairly messy game, why it was working so handily in their favor, it was once Static Shift came online with Caitlyn, she can get the push in any lane that she goes towards, and Kai'Sa's going to have to essentially receive the wave, while Cassiopeia is going to have the same advantage there. And so they oftentimes had strong vision control of Baron. It was just a game of whether or not they're going to continuously look for picks and teamfights off of that Baron control or look to burn with Cassio. And the only reason we keep talking about why it failed is because Cassio wasn't putting damage on Baron until the very end of it, because she was looking for that turn. So it does come into one crucial error. And with the state of Kai'Sa, which very much feels like a Cassinan effect of you just lose out that one team
She's the
fight,
snowball champion, yeah.
and you just get completely stormed on. So it looks really bad, but for a good majority of the game, Invictus Gaming had
That's
control.
what we have to talk about, though. Invictus Gaming were running the game during that mid-game. We saw the Caitlyn get the 3 items. What was it? 1 headshot, critting the Kai'Sa down to half, and then MLXG tries to take a fight. That looks risky. But this was set up. We're talking about the Kai'Sa. We're talking about Jakilov. We're talking about Uzi. We have to talk about rookie's Cassiopeia. He was trying so hard to put out the damage and carry his team through to the end, but he just wasn't quite able to stick the landing without that Caitlyn. And I think the place for us to start with is that early game when we saw the fight in front of Dragon, in which Rookie was able to just come in and clean up some kills.
And the thing is RNG should have never been in that position to begin with. They actually had priority over the Dragon, that they could have burned it at any time. But Uzi gets greedy, and Kai'Sa's actually in the bottom lane. They had priority over the Dragon, could have just turned and burned it because they also have item advantage here. Uzi gets greedy, he goes for the wave, Ming is caught out of position, and then Uzi is now caught out of position. And this was a fight that RNG should have won, that Invictus Gaming then turned, which allows Jakilov to springboard over the power trough that Caitlyn normally goes through, where Kai'Sa should be much stronger.
And this, perhaps play by Xiaohu, I think is something we saw a few times over the course of the series that I'm sure new viewers to the LPL might be saying, oh, it's a clown fiesta, I have no idea what's going on, why is he going in there? Guys, why was he going in there? Because we saw that happen multiple times, not just from Xiaohu, but is it the weight of the series? Is it the fact that this is game 3? This is the game that decides the momentum?
Do you want this one, Raz?
I'm just saying, here's the thing. Now, we're in game 3, you already mentioned it. And at this point, because of how messy it is, with Xiaohu looking to come in from a flank as well, they think they have a read on each other. They believe they have a read on each other. And that's why we're seeing some nonsense. So, like, God bless them. It seems like RNG have been trying to find ways to break the push that Invictus Gaming have, and sometimes it fails. But you know what? All you need is that one landing, and they were able to stick it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There was a couple of some ints in this series. There was some back and forth. It was a little bit messy. There was a bit of a fiesta here. But game 1, game 2 were lit, and game 3 definitely ended very, very strong.
Yeah, and of course, Uzi will be the person who takes our MVP for that game 3 win. No surprise. The Kai'Sa has just been so instrumental throughout these series. It was a question of who could carry harder, Rookie or Uzi.
And right now, it's Uzi, and he's not just carrying harder than Rookie. He's carrying harder than Jakilov. Jakilov has been the guy who's being exploited in these team fights, and it's Uzi who is exploiting him. To echo Clement, we have waited to see this Uzi domestically for years. This is his best shot at the cup, and it's the year of the dog. So,
it's interesting.
Huang Xiao go, he's going for it.
What's interesting to me is the fact that whenever it comes to Uzi's rise, it's off of some new 80 carry that comes out was busted. We're talking about Lucian when Lucian got his changes, and he was able to ride that one to an international. And then we saw of course, like there would be Vayne moments really early on in his career. This time around, of course, Kaisa, which gives back that Vayne vibe.
He's the Vayne player. He's the guy who got Space Vayne.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now he's on Space Vayne, and he can assassinate with his team. I want to see a little bit more of that. We might get banned, as you mentioned. We'll have to see in what looks like could be the final game.
But the big thing is that he is picking up these new ADCs.
Yes.
It wasn't just the Kai'Sa. It's been the Kai'Sa this series, but previously it was the Xayah, a champion he was heavily criticized for not playing. So Uzi has stepped up his game. He is the best ADC in the LPL, and he's the best ADC in this series.
He certainly is so far, at least in these few games, but the series isn't over just yet. 30 minutes ago, nobody would have expected this is happening, but Invictus Gaming are now one loss away from being eliminated. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break while we get that game 4 ready for you, but you do not want to go anywhere because this series is just going to get even more hype.